Hi guys. Uh, so, yeah. I thought I'd come on here again. I tried to make this video a few days ago, but ended up putting it off and putting it off. And I was thinking of making it earlier this morning, but again I put it off and put it off. So it's just like, ugh, might as well make it now. But does anyone else have an issue with like religious or spiritual people? Just well, I don't even know if other people have this issue, but this is just this is just my experience. But okay, so I've grown up with abusive people, or like with abusive parents, and I guess like a month or so ago, I tried to bring this issue to the attention of my aunt and uncle, because I thought they were going to be able to give me some advice and tell me what to do. And if anything, like, I thought my uncle might talk to my so-called, or to one, if not both, my abusers. Which, looking back on it, it's like, no, of course you wouldn't. Because abusers are able to portray themselves as helpless and as much of a victim as they please. But I didn't think that at the time. I just needed someone to vent to, and quite possibly someone to give me some advice on how to handle conflict. But here's the interesting thing, though. They are religious people. So my uncle's advice was try talking to them. And of course I've tried to talk to them multiple times beforehand, and it didn't work out. It just made things worse. So he asked, so he basically went on this whole spiel on, oh, did you ask for forgiveness? Or did you go to them humbly first? Because if you didn't, that's gonna start like a whole fight and a riot. Because they're gonna be thinking that, oh, you just expect them to do this and that and this and that, when you're still living under their roof and they're still paying for your food. So you should be grateful to them for that, and you should do what they tell you to do. Like, that's basically what he was telling me. So I asked him, okay, can you put my aunt on the phone because I thought, okay, you know what, maybe she's going to be a little more empathetic than you are being right now, dude. But, oh, I was wrong with that. She basically agreed. Like, when she got on the phone, she basically agreed with her husband, but then she started quoting the Bible, like when Jesus was, I forget the scripture she said, because I wasn't really trying to pay attention, and I was already pretty annoyed with my uncle's response at the time, but she quoted some scripture, and she basically just said, like, when Jesus walked the earth, he was a servant to mankind, or to mankind or humanity. I forget exactly what the scripture says, and quite frankly, I don't want to look it up, but she quoted a scripture saying, like, when Jesus walked the earth, he was nothing but a servant to his disciples, and he wants all of his kids to basically love and serve others like he has served when he was alive. And then she basically just backed up, and then went back to, like, yes, and that does mean going humbly to your parents and asking for forgiveness before you even go into your point of view. And basically just backing up what her husband was saying, like, well, so I would recommend, and by this time I've heard it from both of them at this point now, that, like, because they basically just said, like, go to them humbly and ask for forgiveness for anything I say that would possibly offend them, and then go into and then say what I want or feel the need to say, but then I need to really listen to them. And then she basically just gave me an example of what she does, of, like, although sometimes I don't really want to do something for someone else because they can do it, but I still do it because that's what Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to love and serve others as he has served us. Like, and then she literally brought the crucifixion in, like, he died for all of our sins, which was basically the ultimate sacrifice and the ultimate act of serving. So it's like, I don't know, just that entire conversation left me wondering, well, no, it left me more annoyed than pissed, because it's like, dude, you are literally using the Bible and God and Jesus to justify abusers, and to basically justify going along with abusers. Like, I'm sorry, but when they kept telling me to go to them humbly and ask for forgiveness, and I've tried to say this, and I tried to say that it didn't sit well with me because I feel like I'm just basically bowing down to them and not standing up for myself. And they said saying like, oh no, you or like, oh no, we get what you mean, but I mean, you want to be respectful too. I mean, so that's why you need to ask for forgiveness, because you need to be respectful, because you're still living in their house and they still pay for your food and blah 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 blah. Like, okay, I don't even know where to start with you guys, because it's like, one, you cannot use the Bible, and I'm pretty sure this is why teenagers and younger generations now hate religion in any kind. But I feel like, especially Christianity, because I do feel like there are more religious people that use the Bible to basically defend abusers and be like, oh, well, Jesus came down to serve all of humanity. He even died on the cross for that, to save humanity from all of our sins. Okay. Say hi, buddy. And the dog is just running. Maddox! Maddox! Come here! Come here! Hi, buddy! Hey! Maddox! But yeah, it's like, okay, one, if Jesus wanted us to be servants of his in the same way that he was, then, I mean, like, if he wanted us to be exactly like he was, guess what? He wouldn't have sent us down here to become humans. Or he wouldn't have let humanity get so distorted. Thousands, if not millions of years ago. Or at least he wouldn't have let it get this bad, so. Because, I mean, basically, all we are there were spirits living in a human body. That's all we are. So, yeah, if he wanted us to be exactly like him, then, he wouldn't have given us these human emotions, or, well, he basically wouldn't have made us human, period. So, yeah. Well, yeah, he wouldn't have made us human, and he wouldn't have sent us, well, yeah. He wouldn't have sent us down here to become human. Like, to get into a human body, to develop human emotions and feelings, and our human 3D way of thinking. Or he wouldn't have let humanity get this corrupt in the first place.
No, I would never hurt anybody.
Because, I mean, seriously, if he and God know everything, I'm pretty sure he knew that Adam was going to corrupt humanity by eating the forbidden fruit. And they definitely would have known that humanity would have gotten this bad. So, yeah. And that's where it's like, religious people do this with like LGBTQ people too. Like, oh, being gay is a sin. Or other stupid stuff like that. Like, dude, no it's not. I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure the few things God does not condone under any circumstances are abuse, torture, rape, or murder, or stealing, or any other illegal activity. You want to play fetch? Yeah. Apparently my dog wants to play fetch right now. Go get your toy. Go get your toy. Go get your toy. Go get your toy. Although, now that I think about it, I feel like stealing and quite possibly even murder in, like, I'm pretty sure he would condone. I mean, like, if you had to steal food or money to get by, or like to get by in life because you were that poor enough, because of how the economy sets up people to fail, basically, then I'm pretty sure God would condone that. Because I'm pretty sure he'd be like, okay, I understand your circumstances and why you were basically driven to do this. And like, dude, I'm pretty sure God would even condone murder obviously only if someone had to do that in self-defense. Like, if it's a kill or be killed situation and you are literally just trying to save yourself from being killed, then yes, that would be self-defense, and I'm pretty sure God would be okay with it. But crimes like abuse, torture, rape, and pedophilia, actually, no, there is no absolute purpose for those crimes other than to get you off on a power trip. But yet, so-called religious people want to defend abusers and rapists and pedophiles, and then shame the victims for speaking up, and then use the Bible and God and Jesus to justify why they are okay with this shit. Ugh. Like, no wonder younger people hate the church. I mean, seriously, my aunt and uncle on my so-called dad's, or on my so-called quote-unquote father's side, basically just confirmed to me that, oh, we will defend your abusers and we'll even use God to justify it. But, yeah. And we'll use religion to shame this kind of victims from getting help. Well, and we'll shame other people for living their lives. Like, I've got more spiritual, and I'm thinking of getting into witchcraft, which, again, the Bible does not say. I mean, like, I will admit I do not read the Bible. I never have. But, well, I mean, I've never read it. Well, in a way, I kind of have read the Bible in bits and pieces. But that was either online or, like, through an audio book or hearing it from someone else. But I never really physically picked up a Bible and read it, or at least I don't remember if I ever have. But anyway, it's like, I've never heard anywhere in the Bible saying that witchcraft is dangerous, or like opening your chakras and or your third, like all your chakras, especially your third eye, are evil. Well, but apparently, and I've heard this from so many other people who are spiritual, or like in a witch community, and I mean, like, again, I don't know, like, yeah, apparently. And I've heard so much, or like, I've heard from countless other spiritual people's, like, videos where they go to talk about these things and teach beginners or people who are interested in getting into and finding out more about this stuff, that I keep hearing that of them getting, like, shamed and blamed and being called evil, and that, like, oh, you're worshipping the devil for practicing witchcraft, like, or opening your third eye or something, like, no. Guys, to you so-called religious Christians who are like that, guess what? In a way, I don't think anyone, or at least, yeah, I can see that I can see like half the witches, if not even half, are doing this, are dabbling into witchcraft and trying to get in, or opening the third eye for dark, evil reasons. But just like everything can be used for bad, everything that apparently is quote-unquote evil can also be used for good too. And Christians do not, or it's my experience, Christians do not want to even see or try and be open to the fact that this stuff can be used for good too. They just want to be like, oh, it's evil, you're worshiping the devil. That's it, like, okay, You do know, if you think witchcraft or getting more in touch with your spiritual self, and yes, that includes opening not only your third eye, but your crown chakra and all your other chakras. Like, dude, the people who get into spirituality, I'm pretty sure are way more sane than all of you so-called religious people. Because, yeah, we're trying. Because we are trying to form an authentic, true relationship and connection with. And I don't know how many people watch me, or I don't know if you're spiritual or religious, so, I mean, obviously, I do believe in God and Jesus and the devil. But, you know what, in case there are any people who watch me who do not believe in him, I'm just going to refer to it as the universe. Because, seriously, for the people who believe in the Big Bang, so the Big Bang is basically a star that essentially exploded and created the universe and the Earth and all the other planets, which means the universe is alive too. And the universe sees and hears all. And if there is anyone who watches me who does believe in God and the devil and Jesus, I'm pretty sure when they created the universe to be a living, breathing thing too. So, either way, I'm pretty sure the universe is a living I don't know why I just said that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the universe, regardless of what you believe, I'm pretty sure the universe is a living and breathing thing. And it sees and hears all. I mean, if we die and we get like 1 minute, or like, if the thing is true that our life flashes before our eyes when we die or when we have a near-death experience, then that must mean the universe or a higher power is seeing and hearing everything and keeping record of everything you do and say. So that must mean karma is real too. Because if someone or something is keeping record of everything we do and say, then that must mean that if we do enough good or if we do enough bad, it's eventually going to come back to us in some form before we die. So, yeah. And, yeah. I've also heard, and I've also have been watching some like twin flame or supposed twin flame readers on YouTube. And even just tarot readers on YouTube. And dude, I feel like I've heard so much over the past year or maybe like year or more since I've started listening to this spiritual so-called twin flame or tarot readers on YouTube. I feel like I've heard this so much that like, oh, your twin is the other half of your soul and you need to be whole and complete within yourself before you can go into union with them. And like, oh, and I've also heard that, the biggest thing I've heard is that, your twin is a mirror of you. And if you're in a third-party situation with him or like with your twin and another person, it's because they're both mirrors of you and you're not doing, or like, and you obviously have some like inner work you need to do that allowed, or like you have some inner trauma or something that allowed you to get in this situation in the first place. And so does your twin. And basically you are where you are because you're not doing anything. Or you're not doing your work. And I feel like, dude, that is a load of BS because, dude, regardless of the supposed twin flame readers, I feel like, are people mirror to you? Yes. But, are you responsible for the BS or the bullshit that they put you through? No, you're not. Did you possibly put yourself, or did you have did you possibly get roped into that situation? Yes, if you've ever been in a third party, you either got roped into that situation or I don't know, regardless of how you would get in a situation like that, it's like, dude, you do not deserve someone doing that to you. But you definitely don't deserve to be like shamed for it. Like, oh, you have some inner work that you need to do because you obviously have like a childhood issue or some kind of issue that led you to get involved in this situation. And basically, I hear so-called spiritual people saying how, oh, this person is a mirror to you, and they are the way that they are because you are the way that you are, and because you're not doing your work, or like you're not doing the work on yourself to fix yourself, so they're not gonna try and fix themselves. Like, dude, we are not responsible for fixing another human being. And I mean, especially for abuse victims, we basically been trained from childhood to take on other people's problems and other people's BS. And I've also heard so many people, regardless of whether they were spiritually awake or not, just say like, oh, you cannot find love unless you love yourself. Or unless you're whole within yourself. Because love is two whole people coming together to make a whole other person. In a way, I can kind of see that to a degree. Because to a degree, do you need to love yourself? And do you need to be working on healing yourself? Yes. But the way I see it is if you cut like the way I see it is if you, okay, yeah. So as I was saying before my camera cut off, because somebody called me, so my camera cut off. But the way I see it is if you have something that's, I don't know, like, let's say you have let's say if your soul has a battery that it runs on and it has a third of its battery left, you can be healed. You can be healed that much, or like if your soul's battery was completely drained. But you started working on yourself and got that soul's battery back up to a third, if not a little bit more than a third the way charged, but not even halfway, then like you don't need to be completely charged or completely healed. Or like in my opinion, you don't even need to be half the way healed. As long as you are trying to heal and continue to work on yourself and not rely and become codependent on someone else for your needs, then no, you do not need to be completely healed to be in a relationship or deserving of love. And I've heard this, and I've heard people say this too, that like, oh, you need to be self-sufficient and so that you don't have to rely on another person. And in a way, okay, I can get that much. I can get that much to a point. Yes, but the other ways, I don't know, I just feel like these so-called people, especially these spiritual people, who just claim that, like, oh, you need to be healed within yourself before you can have a relationship with another person. I truly think that is bullshit. Because really, you people who say this, do you guys take into account people who have severe mental illnesses to the point where it is so crippling to where they cannot work and they cannot function on their own? Like, what does that make? Does that make those people who are dealing with that kind of thing automatically undeserving of love because they are, quote unquote, not healed enough to be in a relationship, or they are not deserving of love? Because I've heard that so much from these spiritual or so-called spiritual people, and even these supposed twin flame readers on you, or like so-called spiritually awake people on YouTube, and it's like, dude, really? So you're basically just, and I got really annoyed with it too, because it's like, okay, you guys are able-bodied people, at least as far as I know, and you do not have to deal with severe mental illness to the point where it basically I feel like saying it cripples you, but that doesn't sound right. But it's like, okay, spiritual or not, spiritual or not, everybody is deserving of love. Yes, ideally, I can see where people are coming from with you need to be healed within yourself to find another healed individual so you can have a healthy, happy relationship with that person. But there are people who are so severely mentally ill or physically ill or even physically disabled or chronically ill to the point where we cannot function like a normal, happy human being. So, and yes, I am one of those people who is severely mentally ill. So, what, are we just automatically undeserving of love? I don't think so. I mean, seriously. And I've also heard from spiritual people who claim that, oh, you need to go all vegan and just like cut me out of your diet completely to raise the vibration and to help you and to become truly spiritually awakened. And like if you eat meat or even junk food, you're just gonna be in a very low and negative vibrational state. Like, no. Like, okay, you know what? You go ahead and do what you want on your spiritual path, but you guys don't need to be bringing down others. I mean, if there are some spiritually awakened people who do not want to go vegan and who still want to eat meat, then I'm pretty sure we can eat meat if we want to, and it's not gonna affect our vibration. Okay? Because I'm pretty sure spiritually awakening, well, actually, no, I know this for a fact, but everything you do, intention matters. So I'm pretty sure no matter what you eat, if you have the intention of becoming spiritually awakened, then I'm pretty sure no matter what you eat, you're gonna become spiritually awakened. Okay? Like, I still eat meat and I still eat junk food and I'm spiritually awakened. Maybe I'm not awakened to the highest degree, but that I could be, but I mean, like, spiritually awakened people, like, what? Between judging us in our journey, judging us by what we eat or how we act, and trust me, these spiritually awakened people I've been hearing on YouTube, or at least some of them, they will judge you on how you act too. Like, oh, you just need to be all peace, or like you need to be a peacemaker and loving to everybody, no matter how much they harm you. And I've definitely heard that from religious people too, but I guess religious people don't surprise me anymore at this point, because religion is just a fucking cult. But seriously, these people will judge, these so-called spiritually awakened people will judge you too. Like, if someone is mean to you or something, like, our natural human response is gonna want to be to call that person or to call that person out and bring attention to their behavior and not stuff that down and not stuff that emotion down into us and be nice to their face after they insulted us or were being a jerk or bully to us or whatever they were doing or saying. I swear, I feel like a few spiritually awakened people I've heard of and follow on YouTube. Because I mean, seriously, some of the people I follow, they act as if, like, if we get bullied or something, like, we're supposed to just shove that emotion down, smile to their face, be nice, and just move on and ignore it, basically. And if we try and stand up for ourselves and draw attention to that behavior, then we're being low vibrational and we're engaging with that other low vibrational person. Like, so we need to just stuff that emotion down and go on with the rest of our lives and let karma deal with it. And let karma deal with them. Like, really? Dude. Like, dude. Unless you either are truly crazy or you have been abused so much to the point where you have been programmed since childhood to just let people walk all over you and not say anything, or to not stand up for yourself, like, unless you have been abused since childhood and been programmed in that kind of a way, then the natural human response and urge is going to want to be to put people in their place and to call that behavior out. And it's that low vibrational. Actually, no. No, I don't think it is low vibrational to call someone out on their bullying type behavior, or even just the hurtful and unnecessary and childish behavior. Like, if someone chooses to behave like a child or childish, then that is them choosing to behave like that. Okay? Okay? Like, yeah. I swear, I hate these so-called spiritual people who say stuff like that. And I swear, I feel like I've heard those same spiritual people who say stuff like, oh, you shouldn't engage with these mean or bullies of a person because you're just, or like, because you're just stooping down to their level and you're engaging in the same low vibe energy as them. I feel like those are the same people who are just like, oh, there are no such thing as demons. There's not really much evil in the world. Or you just need to ignore the evil and keep spreading light. and love. Like, yes, the earth needs more love, but if someone is abusing you or bullying you or just being a bitch or bully, dude, then I'm pretty sure at that point it would be completely okay to call that behavior out and try and put a stop to it right there. By calling that behavior out and defending yourself. Would that be engaging in or dropping down to their level or stooping to their same low vibrational energy? No, it wouldn't. It would be you standing up for yourself. And like, in a way, I can kind of get how bullies need love. Because, I don't know, maybe they were never shown love. Or, I don't know. But I feel like even if you were to look at it from that angle, like, oh, bullies hurt people because they are hurt and they need love the most. You can only take that so far. Because, dude, you can be bullied. Dude, you can even be abused for pretty much your entire childhood. But still choose to observe normal, healthy adults and or peers and grow up doing the best that you can to not be a bully or an abuser, regardless of how you grew up. Like, at the end of the day, the expression hurt people, that can only be used so much, and it can only go to a point. And again, I would tie this back into that conversation that my aunt and uncle had with me, and that some of my parents, or like quote unquote parents' enablers always have with me. Because whenever I try to get someone's help or someone's attention when I was young and be like, hey, I'm being abused by these people, and then I would say some of the things that they've done that are abusive, they either would say, actually no, they would basically just flat out make excuses, and the one excuse they always made for my so-called parents were that, oh, they're doing the best they can. Like, oh, they must, or like, oh, they probably just don't know how to love you. Like, they do love you, they just don't know how to show it. And they're doing the best that they can with what they have. Like, dude, that can only be used so much, because to a point, I do not care if you're abused as a child. At some point, hell, you could be abused as a kid, but then once you reach adulthood, before you even have kids, or even like, in my opinion, if you were like, let's say someone was abused as a child and then they have kids, or they find out that they're pregnant, it's at that point that, if they haven't done so way before they had kids, it's at that point when they have kids that they need to realize that they did not grow up in a happy, healthy family, and their kids deserve better. So, yeah. Seriously. I have wanted to tell all of my so-called abusers all of my so-called I don't even know how to say this or what to call them right now, like enablers or supporters of my abusers. But I've always wanted to tell them that, one, you are just giving them a free pass. No, them, for the excuse your parents do not, or your parents love you but they don't know how to show it, or they're doing the best that they can with what they have. For that excuse to work, I expect parents would get angry with their kids and yell and snap and ground and stuff that their kids would think would be unfair, but the minute it crosses the line to physical harm or emotional harm, that's when it becomes abusive and inappropriate. Seriously, I told one of my I had this conversation with another one of my parents, or so-called parents' enablers, and when I brought up one instance of my abuse again, she just claimed that it was, at the very least, borderline abusive, but definitely very inappropriate. Really? Really? You can hear about a grown adult physically causing harm and scaring a child so bad to where they are shaking and crying and in tears, and you call that inappropriate and borderline abusive? No, that is point blank just abusive. And another one of the so-called enablers, basically, when she found out about financial abuse going on, she basically just said, I cannot help you switch banks because that would be illegal, because that would be illegal and that would land me in a whole lot of trouble, legal trouble, which I have now come to realize that is fake. But hey, I guess in a way that was God trying to show me the true colors. So, in a way, I guess, thanks for showing me the true colors now. So, yeah. Oh, and another thing I keep hearing from, especially another thing I keep hearing from religious people, but also spiritual people and, well, just people in general is that, you need to be grateful to your parents because they are still letting you live here, or they're still letting you live in their house when you should be supporting yourself. They still buy your food and all that. Like, dude, okay, shut up, people. Or at least that's what I want to say to them. Like, dude, for me, it's easier to be like, no, they are not letting me live here. Either, like, the universe is allowing me to stay here. So, will I thank the universe? Yes. Like, will I thank the universe? Yes. But I'm not gonna thank my earthly parents because, dude, I mean, it's a parent's job to provide for their child until that child can support themselves. And an abuser is obviously going to want to support the child for as long as they can so that they can keep holding something over the child. But, like, will I thank the universe? Or, like, again, I'm sorry if some of you people who watch me are not or do not believe in God and Jesus, but I do, so I'm just going to refer to them right now for a minute. But yes, I will thank both of them for being who they are and being good enough parents to keep me where I am and to keep providing for me and not basically just make me fend for myself. Like, because they are actually good parental figures, so yes, I would thank them. I don't know, because for me, it seems easier to thank them than my so-called abusers, so yeah. But, yeah, I genuinely do want to ask this question to you spiritual people, though. That, yes, I do know you need to thank the universe and be grateful for everything the universe has already given you, like all of the minor everyday blessings that the universe has given you. As in, like, you have a roof over your head, you have food, you have water, you have clothes, and, like, you're still alive. There's those everyday blessings, but... And I don't know, like, maybe this is my abused mind, but I genuinely have this question for you other spiritually enlightened humans. Like, should you really be grateful to the universe? Or if you guys believe in God and Jesus, should you be grateful to them for the everyday blessings? Because to me, that is just being a parent. I mean, like, to me, like being able to wake up every morning, have a roof over your head, have food on the table, have clothes on your back. Like just all the everyday, basically daily necessities of life. I feel like if the universe, or again, if you believe in God and Jesus, then being given these things every day, to me, that is just a parent trying, or like a parent being a good parent and providing for their kids. So, like, should we be grateful that, we have a good spiritual parent looking out for us and meeting our needs, and who's not abusive? Because I mean, like, dude, I will be actually, like, dude, I am grateful to both, well, to God, Jesus, and the universe for that, like, for being the nice parents they are, and, not being abusive, and providing those everyday, daily needs. But, like, should we necessarily have to be grateful for that? Because, the way I look at it is, yes, they're blessing us every day with just these everyday, minimal daily blessings. But to me, that is just them being a parent and looking out and providing for their kid or their kids. So, when you say that we need to be grateful, do you guys mean like we need to be grateful that they are good parents that look out for their kids? And that we need to be grateful that they are not abusive people who couldn't care less? Or like that the universe isn't so abusive to where they can care less what happens to us? I don't know, like every time I hear someone who's spiritually awake and say that we need to be grateful every day for these everyday blessings, that's always what comes to my mind. And I don't know, maybe that is maybe that is still the abuse part of my brain that I'm still trying to fight with, and probably will have to fight with for the rest of my life. But I genuinely want your guys' input on that. What do you mean? But we need to be grateful for the everyday blessings. Like, is that what you mean? Like, we should be grateful that they are not abusive people or abuse vassals that can care less what happens to us. So, yeah. Bye, guys.